Cynthia,
There we go.
Cynthia, we're on.
Okay, it's 5 o'clock.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'll chat for a second while we're getting more people on here. I recognize most people on this call, which is great. For those that don't know me and Bev, I'm Tom Gould. This is Bev Gould. We are the co-rally chairs for the rally, along with Rick Larson, who is on here somewhere.
Close the door.
He is monitoring questions. If you have questions during this presentation, you can use the chat function and send them, because we will, we are asking you to please mute your microphones, since we cannot figure out how to mute everybody without just unplugging the computer, which won't work. So tonight we are going to talk primarily about the Richta Rally app, how to use it, what it does. This does not take any place of the rally schools. We will do a parade for the TSD rally. The two rally schools, you can attend either one. They're on Monday afternoon at parade. We will again cover the Richta app there, and we will have a practice rally at the parade where you can try the Richta app and load it before the TSD rally. So this is going to be basically an overview of the Richta app and some why we use it, how it works, and how it affects you. It's actually a very simple thing to do. It's a little intimidating the first time, but it basically, you set it up and it takes care of itself, and you can concentrate on the rally. So I think we're ready to get started.
Okay, we've got 56 people online, 57.
And we're recording.
Yes, we're recording. Come on. If somebody can let me know if they can see the presentation.
We can see you. We
You
can
do
see it.
not?
We can. We're good.
Okay, good. Let me go to switch. Yeah. Okay. You're on. Like that. It's not so distracting. Okay.
Is that going to block that over there?
What?
Is that going to block?
No, it doesn't block that for them, just for you.
Okay,
I'll just put it like that and you're good, okay?
wonderful. Again, welcome everybody. I hear more people joining. I'm Tom Gould, Parade Rally co-chair, along with Bev and Rick Larson. Tonight we're just talking primarily about the Richta competitor app and how we use it, why it's used, and how to set it up. Again, please mute your microphones if you can. If you have questions, use the chat function, and Rick Larson will be monitoring that, and we could either answer questions as we go if they're appropriate, or wait till the end. So this rally app was developed by Rich Burita, who is primarily a CCA rallyist, who saw the need for something to take advantage of technology and make scoring more automatic for rallies. There we go. For those of you just joining, please mute your microphones. Thank you. The Richta Rally apps. We're going to talk. They're developed by Rich Burita, like I say, an SCCA rallyist, who saw a need for this, using GPS and using timing to make scoring and timing automatic for rallies instead of having people all over the place. It's 3 rallies that primarily are used for setting up rallies. One is Rally Master, which is primarily exactly what it says. It's used for the Rally Master to set up checkpoint locations, restart locations, timing locations along the route. You enter the scoring for each leg. You enter whatever the Rally Master needs to enter to set up a rally. It's password protected. You cannot go in and see it unless you are a Rally Master. So that is the Rally Master app is what is making everything else kind of function. It's the main thing for an event. The competitor app is what we're talking about tonight. That is one you will need to have on your smart device or tablet to run the rally and be scored during the rally. It's only used during the rally and for that particular event. We'll get into setting it up and how it works. There's also an app called Scoreboard, which actually shows live scoring, shows it by car, by score. It also shows a map of checkpoint and restart locations, as well as contestant locations in real time. We use that as rally masters. We can actually monitor the whole rally on a computer screen and see where every car is on the route at any given time, and see their scores live and all that. You will not get access to that till after the rally because, like I just said, it shows you where checkpoints are and things like that. We will have a big screen at the end of the rally and hospitality that'll actually show this live. So you can watch the rest of the cars that are still on the course. You can see an overview of the rally course and where everything was on there. And you can see live scoring. So scoring will be done by the time you get back. Your score has already been calculated, and anybody who else has finished the rally, their score has been calculated. So. And yes, it's available to download for free on any Android or iOS device that needs to be a GPS supported device. So if you have an iPad that doesn't have GPS, or Android tablet doesn't have GPS, it won't work. It has to be GPS supported and should have a cellular signal, because it relies on that to receive the download of the data and to send the data back to the rally masters during the event. Yes, we have an iOS device, an Android Samsung tablet that does not have a cell signal, but we hotspot it to our iPhone. So the iPhone works as a Wi-Fi device, and it talks to the tablet, which will send the information back and work just fine. So I'm jumping ahead here and being more technical than I need to be. Again, those of you that just joined, thank you. Please make sure your microphones are muted. I've already mentioned this, the Richta Rally apps, so you can find them in the whatever online store you use to download apps. They're available, they're free to download. There's 3 of them that show up that look the same. They have, you'll see it on the next screen. Competitor, Rally Master, Scoreboard. Don't download the Rally Master app. It won't do you any good at all. You must download the competitor app to participate in the rally and be scored on the rally. You can download the Scoreboard app if you would like, and we will activate that after the rally, so you can see, you can literally, be in your hotel room and scroll through it and see how everybody did on the rally. But once again, to run this rally and be scored, you must have the Richta competitor app loaded up on your phone. Where do we have the, anyway, okay. So quick background on the competitor app. What it does, it provides real-time display of score to the competitor, as it'll show it on your screen at each control or checkpoint or restart on the rally. It'll pop up on your screen, gives you instant scoring. It has a time of day clock, which is the rally time of day clock. So you don't have to set a clock in your car or bring an extra clock or any of that anymore. The rally time is actually displayed on the app. It provides for delay allowances, or what's the other time allowances to be applied through the app in real time. You don't have to fill out a time delay slip. You don't have to calculate, anything. You just basically punch a button and ask for a certain amount of time delay.
Pushing it park over there now. So
Could you make sure your microphones are muted? Thank you. It will also show in your app the display of your total score in real time. There's the last 3 bullet points here are what used to happen. If you've rallied before, you remember as recent as 2 or 3 years ago, you go out and drive out there and you either came to a checkpoint where you did it yourself, or you had to write down your time on a score slip, or you would come up to a manned checkpoint where somebody would, you'd pass a line on the road and they would clock you in. They'd have clocks on their tables. They would take a scorecard from you. They would write that down, assign you an out time, hand it back to you with another slip. If you had a time delay, you had to have it in there. You got the scorecard back. You had to manually do the scoring yourself. And from the rally master's point of view, we had to send these people out there. We had to set up controls that were in locations where you could park 5 or 6 or 10 cars, make it safe for these people to go stand out there in the rain and 100-degree heat, and you were limited by how many volunteers you had and how many checkpoints you could run. So we would run a 4-hour parade rally, let's say 120 miles, and there may have been only 4 or 5 or 6 checkpoints on the whole rally. So you had these legs of the rally that were 20-30 minutes long because we were limited to where we could do things. All of that is gone now. Everything is GPS based. When we set up the rally, we drive out there, we can put it, you don't have to stop at the checkpoints. We'll go out there, we'll put a GPS location along the route in multiple places. We're unlimited how many checkpoints we can have. So you can be going down a road, and if we want, we can put 3 checkpoints on this road a mile apart, and all you do is drive down the road, and when you pass that GPS point, the phone, your device, knows you're there.
Turn the lights off in the office.
It clocks you in automatically, calculates your time automatically, tells you if you were early or late, and sends the information back to the rally master in real time, so we know you've been at that checkpoint and your score. So we don't have to worry about you don't have to pull off the road. We don't have to worry about having, safe space to do all that. And we can literally have unlimited amount of checkpoints. It's not uncommon for maybe an SCCA rally. I've heard of 100 checkpoints on a rally, which is a little extreme. We are not doing that. But there will definitely be more than 10 checkpoints on this rally. And we don't have to have people anywhere out there in the 100-degree heat that will probably be projected for that day. Everything's done automatically. The logistics of a rally just got a whole lot easier with this. Especially what's really nice is you get to the end and you already know what your score is, you know what everybody else's score is. That was the other thing we did. We would spend 2, 3, 4 hours after a parade rally. We'd have 4, 5, 6 of us in a room with everybody's scorecards and doing all the math for that. Don't have to do that anymore. Wonderful, wonderful thing. Okay, so in red down here, you can see this is a screenshot of my phone. You can see the Rally Master scoreboard and competitor apps. This is what they look like. Yellow box with a checkpoint sign. You should download the competitor app for sure, and optionally download the scoreboard app. You don't need the Rally Master app unless you're going to put on a rally sometime in the future. We have another presentation for that if you ever want to see it. Again, so what you do is you download the app. It's the competitor app, and here we're going to tell you how you make it work. You download the app, click on it and open it. This is the iOS version right here, and choose your event. There'll be a screen load of events, and you can scroll through it. And at parade, we're going to have, it's going to be called, I think, 2023 Parade Rally. We also have a practice rally at parade. I think it's called Parade Practice. And you go in and you just select your, select the event, and you get to the next screen. That reminder, keep your device plugged in, covered later. These are the screens that'll come up, and this is again on the iOS version. You have to enter a password, and that will be the password that we will give you. So until we give you that, you cannot get into the event. We don't want you loading it up into your phone much before the event, because that'll cause potential problems down the road. So, download the event. We'll give you the password when it's time. Once we give you the event password and you enter it, the next screen that pops up is you put your car number. In this case, it'll be your rally car number. We're going to tell you all this again later. You'll put your car number and you put a password, but this is your password that you pick. Pick something simple. When we run, we just put our last name in there. The reason you do that is so somebody else cannot accidentally enter your car number or log in into your car number. Because then their device will take over and you won't get scored correctly and vice versa. So enter a car number and a password of your choice. This is the Android version of it. Again, enter you open up the event from the list, enter the password that the Rally Master gives you. That'll go to the next screen over here. Again. Oh, you have to check password. I go back.
Go back one more and one more because the arrows came out just.
Oh, there.
There you go.
Yes. On the iOS version, you hit continue. On the Android version, you hit check password and it'll say okay and go to the next screen automatically. Enter your car number, enter your password again, of your choice, and press save. And then you are now registered for the rally. There's one more step you have to do. There we go. This is the iOS version, Apple version on the left, the Android version on the right. The next screen you enter the class for the event, for the parade, RO1, RO2.
Yeah, I have to be here because I'm plugged in.
Again, please mute your microphones if you have, Cam. Thank you. So RO1, RO2, whatever parade class you're running for the parade, enter an email address. That's optional. We're not going to be using that actually for this event that I know of. Enter the driver and navigator name. Please enter first and last name, / first and last name for driver and navigator. That makes it a lot easier when we're trying to figure out scoring. If you just put Tom and Bev on there or something, if we go, okay, who is this? Then we have to go cross-reference a bunch of things. If you just put your name, take 10 seconds to put your names in there, we'll be good. Enter a cell phone number.
No, I did turn on my own.
Jeff, can you your microphone, please?
Thank you. Enter a cell phone number, preferably if you two people in the car, we're going to guess you have 2 cell phones. Enter a cell phone number of the one that is not running the app. That is in case we need to call you. Like I said, we can monitor the rally from wherever we're sitting. If we see you getting off course somewhere and we want to just kind of flag you down, make sure you're okay or anything, we want a way of getting hold of you.
Or if you seem to be stopped at 103.
Yeah, or if we see there might be a problem with the app. We have seen problems where you will watch it, will be on the screen and your car won't move for some reason. Even though you might be running down the road, it shows us as not moving. We might call you and have you reset your app or something like that, and it will catch back up. The app will keep running even though it's not saying you're running. It actually works very well. So yeah, enter a phone number. Hit submitted info for the iOS version, and for Android, you just tap the screen. Hit add up here, and then now you're completely registered for the event. Okay, the difference, we're showing the difference because it's interesting how this app is developed. It looks totally different in the 2 versions. Okay. So once you're registered for the event, you see one of these 2 screens. On the left again is iOS, on the right is the Android version. There's the rally clock will be running in the upper left there. It runs in seconds, not in hundredths of a minute. It runs in just real time. And that is the time everything is set for on the rally. So like I said, you don't need external clocks anymore. You don't need to set the clock in your dash, set a stopwatch. You don't need to. The official time for the rally is in front of you all the time. You want to make sure the GPS is working and that number that is circled there where it says GPS accuracy should be fluctuating, and that means it's working. It'll start usually at 16 or 24, and it'll keep getting more accurate as the device recognizes that it's looking for a GPS signal. It usually runs about 4 meters on a iOS device, and on our Android device, it tends to run about 2 meters accuracy. Don't get hung up on that. Just make sure it's working, okay? The next thing you're going to want to do is go to settings on the iOS version. Settings are at the bottom. On the Android version, you tap the three vertical dots on the right, and you get a drop down, and it takes you to settings. The other thing you just want to check, and again, reminder, we're going to go over this at Parade, and we will have this written out. We also have a video we can show you how this works. And this is being recorded. So you want to do a sound check. It is important that you, this is where you want to make sure your Bluetooth is off, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. You want to make sure your ringer is on. You want to make sure your volume's up, because every time you pass one of the GPS locations, time check, control point, restart point along the rally, it'll make a tone, or there is a voice that will say, you know, restart or 0, or it'll announce your score, whatever, but you want to be able to hear that. That way you don't have to be staring at the device the whole time to see if it's working or not. You can actually just listen to it as, you know, like I said, you put the device up, let it sit there on the dash or wherever you're going to put it in a phone holder, and it'll talk to you when you get to a point along the rally. Make sure the volume's up, because it gets noisy in cars, especially for anybody that's going to brave 90 to 100 degree heat at Palm Springs running with the top down. Yeah, you're probably not going to hear it anyway, but let's see. Then on the iOS version, you hit back to get to the main screen. On the Android version, you just tap the screen and this drop down will go away. This is the main screen you're going to have on for the entire rally now that you're set up and running. Again, on the right is Android, on the left is iOS. So the Android version on the right is just showing the screen as you set it up. You haven't gotten to the start yet, or you haven't crossed any checkpoint locations. The one on the left, the Apple version, shows a car that has already gone through 4 checkpoints, so to speak. So on the bottom there in the big circle, see number 1 is the bottom thing. It goes from the bottom up. Every time it loads, it always loads the most recent control at the top. So the start time was 8:01 or 20:01. The first timing control we went to was at another restart at 2029. That was probably the auto check on the rally. The first checkpoint we went through, which was number 3 in this thing, is 20:48 and 18 seconds, 18.7 seconds in tenths of a second. And our score was 0.9 or 9/10 of a second late, and we got a score of 0.9. On this rally, Parade rally, we are rounding everything to the nearest second. I'm sorry, we are truncating it to nearest second. So this score of 0.9 would actually be a 0. A 1.1 would be a 1, et cetera, et cetera. So every time as you're going along through the rally, every time you pass one of these GPS locations, it'll read aloud. In this case, it would say late 0.9 or early 0.0, or it will say restart. And up in the right there, where the other small circle is, they can't see I'm pointing. It has the total score for the rally, and that was through the first 4 legs of this rally. The total score was a 0.9. Again, this rally was done in tenths of a second, not seconds.
Do you want to tell the iOS folks to make sure that they select voice and not Dean?
Yes, on both.
That's not it. I think it's just on iOS.
No, is it? Can I go back one screen?
It's not going to tell you.
Yes.
It tells you on the iOS, but on Android, it only.
Right,
gives you
okay, yeah, going back, there's 2 options on the sound. One is just a tone when you go past things, the other is the voice, and we recommend using the voice, which actually will tell you what your time is instead of just doing it. We found that if you just do the ringing sound, that when you cross something, your first thing you want to do is look down at your phone to see what happened. If you have the voice there, the voice will tell you, and you don't need to keep looking at the phone. On the Android version, you hit toggle, so you do a sound check, you toggle the sound to go back and forth between the ringing tone and the voice tone. Sorry. Okay, no problem. I want to go back a screen because so again, this is a screen you will just have sitting in front of you the entire day. And this is the main one you will work off. You set it up, put it in a phone holder, put it on top of your dash. Do not put it in your glove box. Do not put it in your center console because all of a sudden it will stop getting a GPS signal, and that's not good. You want to be able to see it, but you don't want to you don't need to be staring at it the whole time. But you want to be able to hear it when things happen. And this will get it set up. It takes a minute, 2 minutes to set it up, and just let it run in the background. Concentrate on the route, concentrate on the rally, do what the rally master says in the instructions. This app will take care of itself, okay? It's probably the most important thing. It's easy using technology the first time. You want to see, or you want to know what this thing is doing all the time. It's taking care of itself. Don't worry about it. It works great. Okay. One advantage this thing has is if you need to use it, take a time allowance, you're going down the road, and we will talk more in the rally schools at Parade how to deal with things like traffic and construction delays, things that might happen during the event that we don't have any control over. So what you can do if you get to a point where you get delayed by construction, let's say for 2 minutes, there's a flagman there and you're doing well in the rally, you're right on time, and you come into a flagman and you sit there for 2 minutes, you go through the construction zone, then you get back on time, and it took 2.5 minutes. What you do is you press the TA button on your device that's in red here. Press the TA button until you get to 2.5 minutes, and it goes in these increments: 10 seconds, 20 seconds total, 30 seconds total. Then it jumps up by a minute each time. So it goes a minute 30, 2 minutes 30, etc., all the way up to, I think you can enter up to 18 or 19 minutes of time allowance if you need it. The reason it jumps by a minute after 30 seconds is if it let you add in 1 minute, in theory, you would be right on top of another car that was a minute behind you or a minute in front of you at the start of the rally. So in theory, everybody's a minute apart on the rally. Once you pass a checkpoint or a control, we're using those names synonymously. The time allowance goes away and you're back at 0. So you don't need to, you get on the next leg of a rally, you don't have to worry about the time delay. All the time allowances are in that leg of the rally that you entered this in there. The important thing is you must enter any time allowances before you get to the next checkpoint, because once you get to the next checkpoint, you cannot add any more time allowances. Again, we will deal with time allowances more in the rally schools, but this feature is there so you can again, what's nice is if you come across you went through your construction zone, you're back on time, you turn right, and all of a sudden you're facing a train, and now you're stuck for another 4 minutes. You can then add 4 additional minutes in, or sorry, it would go from 2.5 to 4 to 6.5, whatever it is. You can keep adding things on the same leg, and as much as you want. You don't have to total them all up, and you're not handing in a slip like we used to in the old days. You're in charge of your time allowances. You can use them for anything you want to do. That's no problem. Again, we'll deal with more of the philosophy behind time allowances and why you use them. I'm just showing you here, it's very easy to add time allowances if you need to. That's the TA plus thing. Oops, did I go backwards? Yes. The TA minus, it does the exact opposite. If you put in too much time delay, if you put in 6.5 minutes and you realize you only wanted to put 4.5 minutes, you just hit the back button, the TA minus, and it will take out the time allowance. Just look at the time allowance, which will appear in that where the circle is here. It'll tell you how much you have in there. You will rarely use time allowance unless you make a mistake. You'll the time allowance minus unless you make a mistake, and you cannot go below 0. So you can't start taking, you can't drive really, really fast and start taking time out. So that does not work. We have, yes, we have, why didn't it go? We have 2 videos that I think have online.
We do.
We can email them to you if you're interested. It's basically a step-by-step in real time how to set things up in the app. I'm not going to go through now. Each of them are about 5 minutes long.
So
that's what it looks
once you
like.
have it, and if you can hit done.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's primarily it. The time delays there are to help with safe driving, so you don't have the speed to make up time. Again, let the Richta set the Richta app and let it do its thing. Don't get hung up on it. Just leave it there on your dash. Don't try to make the rally more complicated. It's usually not that tricky. This route for the parade is not that tricky. Just follow the instructions, do what we say to do, and have some fun on it. Stick to your own instructions. Don't get into following another car. It's not necessarily a good idea. You're trusting that that person in the other car knows what they're doing, and they probably have not any better idea than what you're doing. Just you're better off following your instructions and doing your own thing, and you will do well. Again, you might find it's a Porsche, and I've seen people follow a Porsche on a rally before thinking they're on the rally, and all of a sudden they find themselves way off course because they weren't following a Porsche that was on the rally. And it could be you're following somebody that's lost already too. So don't, like any rally, don't give up. This rally is not that hard. It's a nice route. It's a
Pretty straightforward.
it's very straightforward route. I don't see, unless you turn left where we tell you to turn right, you should not have any opportunity to get lost on this rally. The roads are pretty wide open. They're all higher speed roads. Unfortunately, there's a lot of speed limit 55 roads that will have you doing 55, and it seems like you're going to be crawling along. But it's mostly higher speed roads. We were out there yesterday to do expert checkout on it, and everything went really well. Everything's in good shape. We did run across some construction, and who knows, it may happen 2 weeks from now. We don't know. Manage your expectations. Remember, this is a trophy you're competing for. It's not there's no prize money involved. don't worry about worry more about your car and stuff, and then you're the trophy. Just have fun, have a good time. There's going to be people out there that are very experienced rallyists. People out there, a lot of people are going to be on their first rally. or they rally once a year. That's who you know, again, manage your expectations, and have fun. Final thoughts on the device is, and we'll go over this again, we'll write this up at parade check-in. You're going to want to make sure your Bluetooth is off on your phone. Otherwise, it's going to try to connect to your car or something else. And it's going to try and announce things through your speakers. Keep your device active. Don't let it go to sleep. So if you have your device set up to go to sleep every 5 minutes, go into settings and have it so it never goes to sleep. It won't affect it. The app will keep working in the background, but it'll make it look like to us that you're not moving. Because it won't be sending any information back. Keep your device plugged in and charging if possible. If not, make sure it's 100% charged when you get to the rally. You should be able to get through a 4-hour rally on a full charge, but don't count on it. Yeah, GPS uses a lot in the background sometimes, depending on your device, how old it is, how the battery situation is, and what else you have running in the background. You should try to turn off notifications. Like if you get notifications every 2 minutes that people are posting on your Facebook or something like that, you probably want to turn that off. Otherwise, it's just going to keep showing up in front of the app, and usually at the most inopportune times. And again, place the device in the car where it has a clear view of the sky. I mean, you don't have to have it up necessarily on the dash. You can have a phone holder that's on the dash or on the windshield. Again, don't put it in a glove box. Don't put it in the center console. Keep it out where you can see it and it should be fine. If you're getting a GPS signal, you've got it in a good place. So I think that's it. A reminder, I will ask Rick about questions if he has any in a second. There are 2 TSD rally schools Monday afternoon.
Starting at 1:15 and again at 3 o'clock.
1:15 and 3 o'clock on Monday afternoon. The locations will be
They're
given. You'll find out when you get to the parade.
recess
At the Las Brisas room.
upstairs.
Yeah. We will have a practice rally where you can download the app and go run around a little 4-mile course where it's going to ding at you or announce or talk to you a couple times so you can get used to the app. Oh, and an important thing is we will remind you of this. You need to unregister your device after the rally. Otherwise, it keeps running in the background. And for the rest of the week, we can track you. So we will remind you to do that later. You can go to the Richta website for more information on these apps. Again, we have some videos we can share if you would like it. You can email us that. And do we have any questions?
Rick?
Oh, yeah. A lot of questions. I've
Okay.
been trying to reply to them on the fly as we go, and we've had other people provide input as well, or questions and responses. Thank you for that. I'm going to generally try to go from the top of when you talk about downloading the app is downloaded from either the Apple App Store or from the Google Play, right?
Yes.
Which, okay, which means typically, at least on my Apple stuff, when I download an application, it asks for my account password and so forth. If you're a person that has somebody else download apps for you and you don't know the password, you need to get that situation straightened out. If you encounter that on Monday at the parade and you don't have the password to get into the Apple Store or the Android store, Google Store, whatever it's called, I can't help you a whole lot, okay? There was a question about entrant number and so forth. We've asked people to sign up for start times, and we've had a really good response to that. We had a good response last year also. So your start time is basically your entrant number. It's not, your parade number is a different number, and we're not tracking that. We're starting basically with the Richta app, we're using the start time number. So if your start is number 5 and you're out at 7:05, that's our reference for working with Richta all the way through.
And they sign up Genius, right?
Yeah, and that was through Sign Up Genius. Sign Up Genius, I think, as I recall, Bev, we basically set that to turn off June the 13th.
Correct.
If you don't get one, then we will get a number for you when we see you at the check-in on Sunday, June the 18th. If you check in on Monday the 19th, we will have already picked one for you, and they will give that to you at the late check-in process. Question's been brought up about cell phone service. Number one, and I think it's been responded to by a number of folks, we're using GPS, global positioning system. We are not using cell phone service for the competitor app per se. I will qualify that a little bit. The competitor app every so often will try to quote phone home and to report what it's got for scores for you as it sees them. It's infrequent. If it can't get a signal, don't worry about it. So the question about cell phone coverage across the entire area that we're using is not applicable. Is that understood? Thank you. The question was asked also about, does GPS use the data function on, and so I'm going to feed back to Tom on that. I've never worried about the data function on my phone. So GPS data, I think, is number one, extremely short. And I don't know if it uses the data function at all for cell phone service.
I have no idea.
Okay. Is anybody on the call have a feel for that?
I've never worried about it. I just set it up and it works.
Yeah.
So GPS does not use your data. However, your communication of this pinging that you're talking about, that does use data.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
We learn something new all the time with this thing.
Yeah.
There was a question, we go farther down. Somebody asked a question about the instructions and stuff, and I replied, yes, they're in paper. We're not to the point where we provide everything electronically for the route instructions. Nice thought. One was a comment about Bluetooth. Are you recommending the Bluetooth connection to vehicle speakers be turned off? That's a recommendation, and I think Tom commented about that. You'll get some feedback through your speakers if you leave the Bluetooth on. Comments also about sending out or making available a copy of this. We did record it, and we will do that. That'll be in a separate email. Speaking of emails, a number of folks have contacted us and said they have received or not received certain emails. There have been 3 that have been sent. Hopefully everybody's been receiving those now, and based on the fact that we're getting an extremely high response on the Sign Up Genius, I'm assuming pretty much everybody's getting those.
Can you let them know what email address to look for if they have to look in their junk folder?
Yes, a lot of them are finding them in their junk folder. It's Parade Rally 23@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Good question. Somebody asked about the competitor app, whether it measures in meters or miles. My comment was the competitor app does not measure anything in meters or miles. What it is measuring meters for the signal that it receives. It is not measuring the distance as you're traveling on your car, in other words, known as the odometer. There's another app for that, or there's a series of apps available that can do that for you. The last question I see here, somebody snuck one in, there's another one. It says, can we get the password for the test course tonight? No. We'll provide that later. Clarification on when we enter our info and the card number is the one we get from the Sign Up Genius, not the parade registration card number. Correct. Use the Sign Up Genius one that we provided. And I lost my train of thought. I wanted to say something.
Let me make one comment. So at the start, or actually a parade check-in, we will be providing you with a car number that you have signed up for in Sign Up Genius. On that car number, it's going to have the driver name, the driver's parade entrant number, the navigator's name, and the navigator's parade entrant number, as well as your class. So there's going to be quite a bit of information on that. And that's so we know that the people that are in the car are supposed to be in that car. And then it's also going to be easier. We want you to display that in your windshield. So we're going to have photographers out on at the start and out on the course, and they can see that you are part of the parade rally. Go ahead, Rick. Sorry.
I make a correction on the email address you're looking for. I dropped a couple of digits, so it's parade TSD rally 2023 at gmail.com. Trying to see if there's anything else here. Again, I appreciate the responses that people provided. Didn't have any conflicts or anything like that I could see anyway. Scrolling back real quick, like.
Somebody did ask a question about bio breaks.
Yeah, I responded. There's 3 of them. Is that enough? Usually we're required by the PCRs to put in 1. We've put in a total of 3. It's going to be hot that day, we think.
But not as hot as everybody thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it looks like just looking ahead a little bit, maybe we might be lucky like we were for the parade in 2000 when it was held here in Sacramento. We never hit 90 degrees that entire 4th of July week. So maybe I just got my fingers crossed a little bit for Palm Springs. I'm trying to think anything else here.
There's a couple more questions that just came through, I think.
Okay, let me scroll all the way down here a little bit. Oh, yes, thank you. I didn't address passing. Hang on, and we'll talk about that one, okay? I like the last one first. So when we stop for P, do we use a TA?
No.
No, we have assigned time in there for that. We've allotted time for that. Good question, though.
We actually have it set up where you can take as long and short of a break as you want, and you don't even have to take a break. Like I said, there's 3 breaks during the rally. You may only want to actually stop at 1 of them or 2 of them or all 3. That's going to be totally up to you. We're going to make it really easy on you.
We're just not expecting you to stay out there all day. We expect you to come in, maintain the.
Yeah, don't stop for a 1-hour lunch out there.
Yeah, or don't go, don't go over and take the tram ride up and then be gone for 3 hours or something like that. That's not the intention. Passing, and I think Tom mentioned this just a little bit. You may be passing other cars that are not even on the rally. And they may, other traffic, local traffic may be going slower than what the speed limit is that's assigned or the speed that you're going. Yes, treat them just like normal stuff where you would pass other vehicles. If you get behind somebody or a train or a truck or something that's going real slow, or farm equipment, or you encounter bicyclists and so forth that have to slow down, that's one of the things that you can use the TA plus function for that Tom talked about. And that's the reason why it's there.
In the rally school, we will cover that in more depth.
Right.
how to handle situations like that, or how we think you should handle them. But yes, traffic is just part of the day. You know, we don't have these roads to ourselves, so we have found we've been on this course several times, and for the most part, there's very little traffic out on the roads we're on, except for a few little locations. So
Depends on the weather.
yeah.
Okay, and somebody asked to repeat the email address that you're expecting stuff from, and I see somebody already replied in here for me. Thank you. Anything else? Everybody's muted, so that means I don't have to worry about that. Okay, everything's done through chat, which is kind of nice. Okay.
Yep. At this point, if anybody has a quick question, you can unmute yourself and talk or whatever. Again, this has been recorded. You can ask us for a recording of it. You can actually watch the videos if you want to, more about the app. Make sure on Sunday you come and sign in for the rally. We will give you the practice route instructions. We'll give you the password for the practice rallies. You've got Sunday and Monday to try out the practice rally and try out the app. You'll find it's actually, once you set it up once, it's actually very, very simple to do. I hate the phrase game changer, but this has been a game changer for rallying, especially the logistical part of putting on a rally. Hats off to Rich Beretta and his, I think it's his son that wrote this and monitor it and update it, and it's been great for us.
Got a couple more questions, and we got some people, somebody's dog's barking or something. One question I had for Bev was, how many people did we have attend this?
74.
74.
That's great, thank you. A couple more questions have come in. Question from Andrew is, what is defined as late parade check-in? What time on Monday is late? Good question. They allow check-in on Monday because the rally's on Tuesday. And I think there's 2 different times, and that may be on the parade schedule already. I haven't looked at it specifically, but you need to look at the parade schedule online and see whether it's allowed. So when they say late, I'm going to say there's a session, probably a 2-hour window in the morning, probably closes around 11:30 or so, and there's probably another window that opens up around 1:30 or 2 and runs for a couple of hours.
Jack,
so if you're making your plans for travel and so forth, be sure you take that into account. Is the link to the Sign Up Genius in one of the emails? Yes, it's in 2 of the 3. If you didn't get it, you can contact me directly at my email. I don't mind putting this out. I get a lot of stuff I throw away all the time. My email address is as follows. Rick, which is R-I-K, .Larson, which is L-A-R-S-O-N, @gmail.com. Says, are there any, is there sign up for Monday classes? Good question. No, we have 2 of them. We used to do 1 and we got full. And so we finally decided, let's do it twice. Sometimes it depends on the size of the room.
Hey, Rick.
I'm sorry.
The sign says for late registration on Monday, 9:30 to 11:30 and 1:30 to 3:30.
Oh, okay. I'm within the ballpark then, right?
Yep.
Thank you, Jim. It says, how would an error in the instructions be communicated to cars that have already left? Good question. This happened last year. And I'm the person who is responsible for that, as it turns out. I can admit to that. I've admitted to a number of folks. Typically, we have a pre-run car and we post stuff. We also have the ability to set up emergency checkpoint or control to handle that kind of stuff. The other situation is if there's an error and it only affects some of the folks, we will typically examine the leg or legs that are involved and probably delete the scoring for those particular legs. That's typical rally stuff that's been in place for a number of years. Question is, how many cars are registered for the rally? 120 approximately. That's what I see now.
The highest horsepower, I saw that question. I think there's somebody bringing a two horse trailer.
Just two, huh? Okay. I did see one car that signed up that's a Taycan.
The rally?
For the rally, and based on the mileage and so forth, that should not be a problem for the Taycan.
We're trying to make, since we started Porsche Palm Springs, they're going to try and make their top off electric charger available that morning, so you can top off. But don't count on it yet.
Okay, I just saw the question. What's the highest horsepower car registered? Good question, don't know. But I like the answer of two. What are the different rally classes for the Sign Up Genius? There are not classes associated with Sign Up Genius. That's just basically picking a start time. Or am I misreading the question?
I think they
This,
made,
this is from Jeff.
it's the parade rally classes, TSD rally classes.
Is that in Sign Up Genius?
Yeah, and some people are putting that in and some are not. Okay. And we're addressing also since it's been brought up, the parade rally classes. There are 5 of them. They run from R01 through 05. We have a lot of people running in R05 that, based on the year of the car, probably have some additional equipment that's installed electronically that would probably move them up a class, or maybe even 2. It depends. And we're working with those, and we'll ask. You'll probably get questions from us asking about that. So if you've got a 2023 Macan with the latest and greatest navigation systems in it and the trip computers and all that kind of stuff, that's probably going to move you up from R05 to R04 as a minimum. You can run in a higher class if you like. That's not a problem.
Hey, Rick, I got to take a moment before I jump onto another meeting, but I just wanted to tell everybody I'm Jack Stevenson, the parade chair. How about a big round of applause for all the work that Rick, Tom, and Bev have done so far. Thank you guys so much, and looking forward to seeing everybody out at parade.
Thank you, Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
The folks also need to realize that Jack and I were basically the co-chairs for the parade rally last year. So he took a big leap to being parade chair this year. Let's see, anything else? That's all I see right now. Anything else, Tom, Bev, anybody else?
No, just check your emails, and we'll be there at parade check-in all day on Sunday to answer questions, and looking forward to parade,
Yeah, you'll definitely get one more email from us that talks about the link for this recording.
And also for Sign Up Genius and for the videos.
For the videos also. So we'll try and probably do that all in one. Give us a day or two, okay?
Yep.
I thank you for all the questions. They were good questions.
Yes, wonderful.
Wonderful stuff. And I appreciate some of the people who jumped in and answered that stuff before I could get to it and locate information or answers and so forth.
Thank you, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all at parade.
Thank you, everybody.
We're done.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Good to see everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
You guys want to stay on and talk a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good turnout. 74 people.
It was actually 75, but one jumped off pretty quick.
Okay, I'm impressed.
If we got 75% of our participants there, or 75% of our cars, obviously, if we didn't probably go Anyway,
Let me
yeah,
get a
great
picture and,
turnout. So
get this
that's
one.
good.
I am impressed. Yes, very impressed.
We're switching locations here. I'm no longer the captain.
Okay, we still got a couple people on.
I know, that's what I'm working on.
Okay,
Okay, I think we're just about done with everybody there.
Almost. I don't want to report in the Zoom. Okay,
That's funny that they put that as the default to report somebody.
I know, that would be bad.
Get kicked off of Zoom.
Well, a lot of people have had problems with
Yeah.
their Zooms getting invaded. So Rick, blah, blah, blah.
hi, no, that was
Hi.
great. That was super. So we're going to provide them a recording as well as a copy of the handout.
Yeah, let me see if I can stop the recording right now.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be kind of nice. I hate to be in